Hey, what's up everyone? Spazz here. Just want to do a quick Thinkorswim tutorial overview as far as my setup. For starters, I'd like to give a shout out to Studley. He's the one that actually shared his Thinkorswim setup. Really helped me adjust to a better, cleaner setup. Uh, for starters, here's what his actual layout was and configuration. I actually beforehand was using the flexible grid view. I was using more charts, not just a single view. This is, I believe, a 5-minute candle. He also does use a different candle than I do. I believe it's the Hitachi candle. Pronunciation might be wrong. Um, I just use the standard candle trend. So back to my setup. Here's what I'm running on a daily. Starting on the left hand side of the screen, I do have my standard 1 minute, 1 day chart. Sometimes I'll have it to a 2 day just to where I can jump back and zoom in and look closer to see where things are on the TTM squeeze. The uh, EMA 4 combined with the RSI, and then down here I have the volume indicator. Um, I thought I might have had an additional one, I guess not. Um, Same time you can see I have the volume info quick glance right there as well. I actually probably will remove that just because it's taking up so much room right there. I also have it at the top of my screen up here. So with that said, getting into the main chart, I do still need to do a little bit cleanup because as you can see, I do have three different teal lines. That's all the EMA and the simple moving average. So the EMA 4 exponential moving average, this is one that actually is going to follow the chart the closest, or your actual candles. By default, this is a length of 9, and that's using a 9-day average. So if I actually went in here, you would actually see that drastically move. This is a big tip thanks to Mother Goose. Shout out to him for explaining the purpose for this. When the chart's moving, as you can actually see if I zoom in, it's going to be more bullish when it's in an uptrend. If it's in a downtrend, you're going to see more of a bearish trend. As you can kind of see, it switched, it started to go bearish. You can see it switch. And again here, it's still moving an uptrend. You can see it looking bullish. So zoom back out. The next thing I obviously have is the simple moving average 250 averages. By default, this is again a length of 9 or 9 days. That's what the length stands for. Um, so I have adjusted those as well per Mother Goose's recommendation. Next is the VWAP. If you're not sure how to edit those studies, you can right click on your chart, go to studies, click edit studies, or you can go to the very top and go down to studies, again, edit studies. Just note that you do have one per setup. So in here, just off the main chart itself, I do have an auto pivot point support and resistance indicator. That's where these green lines and red lines are going to pop up, automatically drawing the support and resistance lines based off of specific data. In this point, it's finding those new highs and new lows. Um, as far as the VWAP, I actually have it to where the upper and lower bands are turned off. You can see that right there. So if I go show plot, apply, it's now going to show the lower plot down here. I don't really know enough about how the lower and upper plots work, so I actually just turn those off. But that is something that I plan on expanding and understanding more of a full extent of later on down the road. Um, Going to the next study, obviously again here, moving averages, just going into them, you're changing the length to 50 or 200 if you're looking for the same setup. Market vitality, God, I don't know why I do this. Uh, this is going to just show you what's going on as far as the market right now. Is it calm? Is it volatile? What's going on? So you'll have a red box if it's volatile, blue box if it's neutral, green if it's calm. Uh, there's the VWAP, we already went over that, and then the volume labels. That's up here where it's showing you the daily average, today's volume, what today compares to on the daily average, and then the 30 bar. Take note that every tick is considered a bar. So the current bar would be at 17,000 volume. Um, Going on to the next, onto the right, over here I do have the volume. I have the VWAP combined with RSI and EMA4, and then I have the MACD. Going in on, oh, I was on the study. Just note if you do right click on a study, you can jump into that easier. Sometimes you'll see that, as I was a second ago, it wasn't actually allowing me to get into studies. I'm not sure why that was. Maybe I clicked on the bar down here. But anyways, so the volume color bar, this is very similar to volume average. If you do a quick search, by default volume average, and I'll show you the difference here. Volume average is the volume average by default just gives you a red bar or a green bar depending on what that tick is. So if that candle is trending down in red, it's bearish, that volume is going to be a red bar. Um, Same thing if it's in an uptrend. If it's bullish, it's going to be green because obviously the more buying or more selling, whatever that indicator is. I use shared volume because it actually breaks this out to where you can see how much buying, how much selling. Obviously, the buying is showing behind the selling, so obviously if you have less selling, it will get hidden by the red bar, but at least you have the indicator so you can kind of see overall how much it's moving. And you can see I actually will sit here and zoom in throughout the day, just so I can see at the current moment really where that bar relates. And as you move or scroll through, it'll zoom in and out, and you can see your time, or sorry, your quantity will change as you scroll. The next thing, the next box is the VWAP, RSI, and EMA4. Again, EMA4, that's just changing the length from the default 9 to 4, so it's a 4-day time frame. I only have these over here because you can't actually have the RSI set behind the main chart. You can, but if you ever zoom in and out with the time axis, it won't actually stay true with the current price action. Steadily noted this today. I actually messed around with a little bit. I couldn't get it to stick, and that's where I found having a secondary box really helps you out to where you can kind of see where that EMA4 is compared to the RSI and the VWAP. Again, something new that I'm playing with that he pointed out that I actually feel is actually pretty useful, but everybody's strategy is a little bit different. So I have a little bit more different knowledge as far as using VWAP and RSI and MACDs. So again, MACD is down here. You can see the different trends when there's a lot of selling going on or when there is buying. This does work hand in hand with the RSI if I'm not mistaken, or at least is pulling some data from the RSI, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Moving back down to the left, I do have all my quantities for the active trader. I can come in here, quickly just place my order. If I have auto send off, by default I just kind of send it to GTC. Actually, I'm seeing additional options on here that I've never seen before. I also have the Elgato Stream Deck Mobile, to where I have custom hotkeys basically for different interval quantities on orders. So I can just come in here and double click this, hit that hotkey, and it'll change that quantity that I want, and it sends the order for me. Moving over, I have typically a 1 day, 1 year chart, just to where I can see the movement of the full 1 year. I've actually recently zoomed it out to where now I'm on a 2-hour, 360-day view, just so I can kind of see overall what the days trending were. Right below that, I also have level 2. That's just a quick summary. I do have my watch list that I typically have running. So obviously today was Tuesday. I was running off of Mondays just because last night I didn't have much time to put a watch list together. Had a few things, but so I was kind of running a combination of yesterday's and today, which wasn't necessarily the best. Today was a strange morning in the market. Another little tip that I actually found pretty useful, um, might not be for everybody because it takes time to keep up with, especially if you do a lot of trades, is creating a watch list for your previous holdings. You can just throw everything you've ever traded into one list, and you can kind of just have your overall view. You know how things are moving, what the market change or percent change for the day or pre-market was. Um, just keeping a quick eye on things. So if something made you a quick buck in the past, maybe it'll do it again if you find that right indicator. Um, Other than that, I think that pretty much sums up everything. I'll show you a quick view actually. This is how I was running my charts beforehand. This is on the flexible grid. There was way too much going on. I do not recommend using so many charts. As you can see here, I had the 5-day, 5-minute. Here I had a 1 minute, the 1 minute today, several indicators. For the most part, I was using all the indicators, but I just had them everywhere. The same thing multiplied. Ignore the side panel over here, but you can see I had the active trader with the time in sales directly next to it. I have level 2 squinched down here. Uh, News, which I care less about now that I have Zynga Pro. If you haven't been paying attention, we highly recommend it. Check it out. We're doing the webcast tonight. Same time, I'll link this to the replay of to Cosmic's YouTube if you miss out. Um, One other thing I just actually noticed I have not mentioned was the TTM squeeze. This is this works off of the MACD. I'm still learning as far as how it works, but it's very similar to how it shows on the MACD. Uh, you have lighter and darker. So the brighter, the more selling. The darker, it's starting to trend back into the green or have bullish a bullish trend. Where on the TTM squeeze, it's more color coded by red and yellow or a light blue and dark blue. Dark blue is it's fading, but there is these middle indicators, the green and red dots. I'm not quite sure what all those are indicating quite yet. I have done some research into it, but I just don't fully understand it yet. So that's just one of those things where I have it there to where hopefully it's something that helps benefit my trading in the future. So hope this overview helped out. Kind of a quick recap. If you do have any other questions or need further explanation, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Willing to help you learn as much as possible. So, cool. Take it easy.